Hi, my name's Jacq, and I'm the creator, writer, and narrator behind the award-winning short fiction podcast Tales from Three Corners. But I'm also the official podcast wrangler for New Zealand Webfest, which is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year. And with me is Ned Donovan, triple threat, happy guy, head of audio fiction for New Jersey Webfest, director of the Audio Fiction World Cup, and the exec producer and cast member of both the Hunted Encore and Encounter Party. Ned, welcome to a little bit.
Well, hello. You nailed the intro. That was so excellent and quick. Nicely done.
There you go. So for someone who doesn't do, the whole visual thing, it's all right.
That was A plus. I won't lie.
Well, the reason we've got you on is we would love to talk to you about the Audio Fiction World Cup 2023 was the inaugural year, taken out by
It
Starship
sure
Two
was.
Star. And what are the plans for 24 and the benefits, I suppose, for the creators?
Absolutely. So the Audio Fiction World Cup is a huge labor of love. And it all kind of goes back to when I was on the web series circuit with my web series, The Hunted Encore, back in 2018, which
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember if ended up at New Zealand, but let's just pretend that it did really well there.
Absolutely. No worries.
And yeah, won everything, no questions, no one Google it. So my show was fortunate enough to come in fourth from the United States and 27th, I believe, worldwide in the web series World Cup. And all
Congratulations.
the kind of like connections I made and the laurels I won and the networking I did at these various festivals, I was able to kind of like leverage into interviews with major companies here in the United States that kind of kickstarted my career as a producer. And that was, 2018, 2019. So
Yeah.
fast forward to now, and I'm the executive producer and star of a television show currently airing on United States streaming services. And all of that sort of leads back to kind of a bunch of dominoes that began at the Web Series World Cup, right? Like the people that got me from the Web Series World Cup to now having a TV show, many of them I met or were introduced to through my Web Series World Cup connections. And but I've been making fiction podcasts and audio fiction for almost as long as I've been making web series. And when I was on the World Cup, I would go to these events all over the world and all over the United States. And I would say, like, we'd all go out for a beer and someone would say, hey, what else do you do? And I'd be like, oh, I make a fiction podcast. And people looked at me like I was insane. And then I would go to these podcast meetups because there was no such thing as like a film festival for audio fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And people would ask what else I did. And I'd say, like, oh, I'm an award-winning filmmaker. And people looked at me like I was nuts. And I couldn't understand it because the Venn diagram of people who make audio fiction and people who make web series is a circle. Like there is no difference between these two groups of people. It is just that at some point, someone made the decision to go audio instead of visual or vice versa.
Yeah.
And that really blew my mind. And the secondary piece of it is I was watching in real time the success of my web series from these opportunities. And my podcasts had nothing like this that I could try and leverage into the same kind of opportunities. And look, my web series is great. Go watch The Hunted Encore, thehuntedencore.com. Watch it. It's great. It's 90 minutes of your life, but it's been watched around the world probably 30, 40,000 times, which in the world of web series is fantastic.
Yeah.
But like my fiction podcast has been downloaded 500,000 times. Like the success of my podcast is so much greater by every metric than my web series. And yet my podcast has maybe 1/1000th the opportunities that my web series has. And that just sort of creates this imbalance problem where, across the audio fiction industry, there are people who work in it and there are people who want to work in it. And there's basically no pipeline to go from the want to the doing it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist. And so one of the reasons I approached New Jersey Web Fest about opening up to audio fiction was saying, like, there is this group of creators who are making incredible work all over the world. And there is absolutely no discovery metric that this current industry at the professional level understands to help people find these creators and find their work. And I'm very fortunate. I make my living in theater and television and film. And people know I make fiction podcasts. So every once in a while, I'll get a call. I get it like twice a month from like a TV studio that I've worked with in the past, who's look at me, and it's not even 6 a.m. for me. Uh, who are making an audio fiction piece, making a fiction podcast.
Yeah.
And if I'm available, I'll consult or I'll join the project. But more often than not, I'm not free. But I'll always say, who else are you working with? And they will hand me a list of names of like out of work TV people and film people, and none of them have an audio fiction credit to their name. And the first thing I say to these people is like, hi, you're hiring the wrong team. There are these incredible creators who know exactly what they're doing, who can do it at a fraction of the budget you think you want to do it at, who are going to make infinitely better work than these people trying to figure it out in real time. Go hire them. And so the Audio Fiction World Cup was designed to start that process of building a pipeline where indie audio fiction creators can create a resume and a discovery metric by which they can pitch themselves for professional opportunities with the kind of resume credit that even these television people don't have in audio fiction. And that was always the original goal. And we're seeing it happen in real time. One of our actual play alums of the New Jersey Web Festival has been reporting multiple thousands of dollars of investment from sponsors and private investment because of their successes at the New Jersey Web Fest and on the 2023 Audio Fiction World Cup. And that is what we always wanted to make, was the opportunity for discovery, for professional advancement, and for a new way of getting outside money to enter the space and start investing in these creators. Because frankly, at this time, awards are basically the only language that works in that field.
Yep. Like that was the best answer.
Look, I practice it in front of the mirror twice a night.
Well, I suppose with the Audio Fiction World Cup, I mean, we've seen the World Cup for the web series floating about, and for podcasters, I mean,
they're entering their 10th year this year.
Well,
Web Series World Cup, 10th anniversary.
I had no idea that this sort of a platform was available for fiction podcasters. I mean, I'm an indie. I'm down the bottom end of the very, very bottom end of Australia.
Of the world.
The whole concept of being able to talk to people about my podcast and to talk to other podcasters was absolutely... How do you put it? As somebody who works with words, I've just lost all of them. It's, it was one of those experiences that I never had before. I grabbed it with both hands. I've made some incredible friends. No job connections yet, though, so I'm going to put my hand up. Anyone?
Hey, put your hand up. New Zealand, Aussie, or just anyone, hire Jacq.
Why not?
Multiple winner at the New Jersey Web Festival.
Indeed. And 16th on the inaugural Audio
Fiction World Cup. 16th in the inaugural Audio Fiction World Cup. And we had 136 projects on the cup this year, which is crazy. And it is frankly, this art form, both fiction podcasting as a scripted narrative, but also actual play, which is the other side of this, and which we'll get into in a second.
I was about to say beautiful segue, because
great.
Who came second? Well, that would be the All Night Society Queen's Court Games. Love those guys. And they're
incredible people.
They're about to do something incredible for other actual play series, which is also known as RPG down sort of this sort of end of the world, which is the role-playing game. But tell us about these incredible actual play.
Well, so actual play is people using a role-playing game, such as Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder. There are thousands of these games, Dungeons & Dragons being the most ubiquitous one, I suppose, to improvise a story in real time for an audience. That is what an actual play program is. My television show, Encounter Party, is that. It is 7 professional actors playing Dungeons & Dragons to improvise a fantasy epic in real time for the audience. Actual play content is massive. There is a show you may or may not have heard of called Critical Role. They stream live on Thursday nights in the US, so Friday mornings, y'all's time, to like 1 million people. Live on Twitch every Thursday for 4 straight hours. Like, it is crazy how popular this art form is. And it was so important to me that when the Audio Fiction World Cup was launching, that actual play was part of that. Queen's Court Games makes an incredible collection of actual play programs, and they have been really at the forefront of trying to elevate indie actual play for opportunity. And they are creating the Crown Grant. I do not remember what that acronym stands for, and I'm not going to try.
But it sounds
Someone
really
put it in
good,
the,
so
it's really the Crown Grant. They are offering actual play programs, 5 of them, anywhere in the world, the funding to cover their submissions to all 11 Audio Fiction World Cup festivals in 2024. And there's actually 12, not 11, but one of them, their submissions are already closed due to a hurricane. They pushed their event. It's weird.
yep.
So apply to the Crown Grant. You can find it on their social media at Queen's Court RPG on Twitter. For you audio fiction people out there, Twitter is the place to be for audio fiction right now. Maybe that'll change. Blue Sky seems exciting, but at least in my purview, almost everyone's hanging out on Twitter. And actual play is a huge part of this audio fiction community. And it's been vitally important to me that every festival joining us on this audio fiction journey is open to both actual play and fiction podcasting. And a goal of mine, Critical Role, as I just stated, is this group that actually streams live on Twitch. It's a video series. And I've talked about this with a lot of people. What is an actual play program but a web series? That's what it is. And so it is my goal that by the 2025 Audio Fiction World Cup, all World Cup festivals that are accepting audio fiction will accept both audio and video actual play. So we can bring video actual play onto the World Cup as well. Right now, the World Cup does not allow video because not all the festivals accept video. So those programs would be at a disadvantage for ranking.
Radio. Now, it's almost time up for us. But before we go...
Oh, my God.
Web festivals... And for someone,
Yeah.
who's completely new to the system, you go in, there's this whole platform on Film Freeway of festivals that will take your project. Now, one thing that sets the Audio Fiction World Cup apart is it can guarantee with its code of ethics that the festivals that you are entering are completely legit. And I think that's a really important element for creators to know.
I am a filmmaker. I'm a podcaster. I have submitted to festivals all over the world. I have been duped and scammed right, left, and center. The Audio Fiction World Cup and the Web Series World Cup are designed to help you know what festivals are going to take your work seriously. Every festival on the Audio Fiction World Cup agrees to a code of ethics that we will be publishing soon. I don't know when this episode goes live, but maybe it'll be up by the time you watch this.
There we go.
And those code of ethics state things like a single submission fee makes you eligible for all awards that a festival has to offer. In-person attendance at an event, at an awards event does not count as a requirement towards awards eligibility. We do not want to create financial barriers to access for creators to have their work recognized by judges. It has a non-discrimination policy. It has a creator-first decision-making policy. These ethical codes are designed so that you know that if you are going to submit to any festivals with your project, these are the ones who will take care of you, take care of your work, and consider them fairly. And that is what the Audio Fiction World Cup is designed to do. It's funny, I talk about it with a lot of people, but in some ways I feel like the AFWC is like an indie audio fiction union. Like we are fighting to, every time we talk to festivals, and I will openly acknowledge multiple festivals have been denied from joining the Audio Fiction World Cup because they would not agree to this code of ethics, at least some part of it. And I check in with festivals throughout the year. I'm the one adding festivals and going out to festivals to get them to join. The Toronto Webfest, TO Webfest, is joining the AFWC in 2024. Their submissions are now open. And in each one of these things, the festivals must agree to this code of ethics. And if anyone pings me that they're not, I have to call them and say, like, hi, get your stuff together, or like, we're going to kick you out. And that is what the AFWC is meant to do. It's meant to give this opportunity for creators, but also create the collective of creator-focused celebratory festivals that are truly taking care of art.
Oh my goodness, he's soundbite for everything. Absolutely everything.
Thank you. I have a degree in musical theater.
Ned Donovan is head of audio fiction for New Jersey Webfest, but he's also the director of Audio Fiction World Cup, exec producer, of course, for the incredible Hunted Encore and Encounter Party, which you do need a VPN if you're down in the southern hemisphere, but keep an eye on your socials because what they're giving us is just fantastic. Ned, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jacq. I'm really glad to get to chat with you.